Hi guys, I'm going to show you how to create a monster mashup drawing. So we've got our watercolor paper here that we'll be working on, and we have our watercolor pencils. So the start of this process is to choose a lighter color pencil just so it will blend in when we create the rest of our drawing, and we're going to create contour lines across our page. So this is just going to be a line that connects and just waves over the page that intersects with each other as well. So we want to start from one corner of the page and make sure that we eventually do fill up the whole page. So there's no right or wrong way to do this. We just want to make sure that we've got a lot of lines that intersect, go around each other, and reach all four corners of the page. Now we also don't want it to be too busy, so that's probably full enough, and we can connect some of these other areas which are just kind of hanging in space. So we want to make sure that everything is closed off. So here as well, we have an area that isn't closed in, so we're just going to connect a line from one end to the other so we don't have any gaps. We can also connect this one over here as well. So this will help us create the basis for our monster drawing. Now the next step is we are going to create creatures out of these lines. So we're going to create several creatures which kind of intersect and overlap with each other, which will create a sense of depth. So looking at our shapes, just find something which really stands out to you. So I think this area here could be definitely part of my monster's head. So we're just going to draw in some circles where our eyes will sit. So you can either draw in the eyes with your pencil, or you can use something like these joggle eyes, these glow-in-the-dark eyes, or slightly bigger eyes, a few variations if you want to try both, and we can stick those on over the top later. So each creature is going to be slightly unique. You can model your creature off of an animal. So this one's a bit koala-like with its fluffy ears. I'm going to give it a big koala type nose, or they can be completely imaginary, your choice. So all I'm going to do now is pick out a few shapes, and it doesn't have to be one single shape that represents a monster. It can be a larger shape which will turn into a larger monster, however you want to create your design, but I'm just going to pick a few sections and create a few different creatures on my page. Okay, so now I've got my rough design for my creatures. I've drawn the features like their face, ears. You can also add feet and tails if you wanted to your design. Now the next step is to add color. So depending on the colors that you want to use, you can do a design with multicolors, you could use warm or cool colors, whatever you want to do, but as long as you're using a few different colors, what we're going to do is outline our design again in that specific color, and then we're going to use our brush with a little bit of water to blend the watercolor pencils. So I'm going to start from the top. Always good to start from the top because I'm right-handed. My hand's going to go over the top of the rest of my creatures, and watercolor pencils can take a little while to dry, so we don't want to smudge everything. So working from top to bottom will help you avoid smudging. So I am going to draw an outline around my creature, and then I'll use my watercolor brush to blend those colors throughout my creature. So going over all of its features, and you can also add little bits of texture like I have in this little koala type creature, and that will make your work look a little bit more interesting as well. If you want to add a little bit more tone to your piece, and that can really help. So a little bit of watercolor pencil will go a long way, so you don't need to color in your whole creature to spread that watercolor pencil. So just a little bit of water on your brush. Make sure that if your brush is brand new that you do get a bit of water in it, just so the bristles can spread. And now we're just going to apply that over and spread out some of that watercolor pencil to cover the whole creature. Okay, so I've blended the watercolor pencil on my first creature, so you can see it's a nice light wash of watercolor. You don't need to go too heavy-handed. Now what I'm going to do is continue that process for the rest of my creatures, changing the color for each one. Okay, so now we've coloured in our design, so that's all complete. Next we're going to add our joggle eyes. So we've got two sizes here, so you can use one size or both sizes, a combination if you would like. Now you can either attach the eyes with double-sided tape, which is included in the kit, or if you've got access to a glue stick, you can use a glue stick as well. Both options are fine, but I'll show you how you can go about adding both depending on what you have to use. So these joggle eyes are glow in the dark, so they're quite a nice addition to have, especially if you are displaying this in your room, then you could see the eyes glow in the dark. Okay, so we've got a larger joggle eyes, so just with the double-sided tape, you can apply that just a little bit to the eye, and it's very easy to tear it, so you shouldn't need scissors or the double-sided tape. So just make sure that that's pressed on nice and firm, remove the backing, and then place it over your creature's eyes where you marked it out, and that should stay there. Alternatively, with a glue stick, you can put the glue down onto the creature and then press the eye over the top, which might be easier for the smaller eyes, but these larger joggle eyes Very easy to attach with our double-sided tape, and you can avoid mess with sticky fingers and smudging things, so that can be a good option. Okay, so now we've got the eyes on our work, so you can leave some of your eyes drawn on if that's what you want to do to have a bit of variation in your work, but it's nice to add a little bit of a 3D effect to your piece. Next we're going to mount our work, so we've got our mount card here. You can choose to do a black frame or a white frame, either way. Doesn't matter too much, but I like the black for the contrast. So I'm going to start by applying my double-sided tape to the top and the bottom of the frame. So whichever color you want should be lying face down. Because I want the black, I'm going to apply the tape to the white part of my frame. So apply that across the top and across the bottom. Okay, so now with your image, placing it over the top, and we do want to line this up nicely. So just put a little bend in the paper, go from the top, lining everything up and just overlapping with our double-sided tape. Press that down, make sure it's all nice and even, and just flatten the paper down as you press, and then we should get our page in the right place, nice and even. And there we have our framed monster work. So that is all complete. You can also decorate your frame. If you've got paint markers, you can add some decoration around the frame too, or you can place some eyes around the border. If you've got extra eyes, then that can be a cute little addition to your work. But that's up to you, whether you want to leave it bare or add a little bit more to that frame. It can come out quite nice. Thanks guys, I hope you have fun with this activity.